Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with The Witcher. Last time on The Witcher, we had The End's Beginning. A pretty horrible title overall, but I have a whole thing against titles that are variations on The Beginning of the End. I think it's a very lazy title. Not the point, though. The point is, the episode was really, really good. We met our main character, Geralt of Rivia, and he was doing his own thing. He was called up by a sorcerer named Stregobor, who wanted him to kill a princess named Renfri. Then he met the princess named Renfri, and she was like, hey, you should kill Stregobor. He's the lesser of... no, wait. Yeah, I'm the lesser evil here, which is also what Stregobor said. Geralt also doesn't like having to choose between lessers of evils, so he was like, hey, you don't have to get your revenge on him. Like, don't be the monster he thinks you are. But in the end, she did end up kind of being that. And Geralt ended up killing her. And then Stregobor turned the town of, what was it, Blavica, I think, against Geralt. And he had to leave. Meanwhile, there was a princess in a kingdom where they were being attacked by another kingdom called Nilfgaard, and her grandmother, the queen, died. Pretty much the day was lost because they think that she has some sort of power, and like Nilfgaard came to kill her, but she ended up escaping, but she did get one final request from her grandmother, which is to go find Geralt of Rivia. And that's kind of where we left it. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever, and we might as well get right into this episode of The Witcher. Here we go. Also, I guess I could also mention that as another reminder, just in case anyone has forgotten or anyone's new here, just as a reminder, I know nothing about The Witcher. I don't know the books. I don't know the games. So I just thought I thought it would be good to reiterate that for anyone. But yeah, now let's get into this episode of The Witcher. Here we go.
Close your eyes. Open.
I got you 3 flowers.
A daisy, not a rose.
Roses are cliche.
Daisies are cheap.
Well, damn, girl.
Still, kiss you, right?
Okay. They have a healthy relationship.
You leave me alone. I heard your father makes you sleep with the pigs. Your own family doesn't even want you.
Okay. Thought she was gonna have the same sort of powers as Cirilla. Hello.
What's wrong?
I don't know.
If you could conjure that portal out of thin air, she'll be coming for you.
She.
Who?
What's your name?
Istra.
Okay.
Wait, what's yours?
Yeah.
How much for a pig?
10 marks.
How much for this beast?
6.
4.
What are you
Jeez.
doing?
Sold. 4 marks.
Have you gone mad? You can't let them have her.
As I said, sold. 4 marks.
Less than the pig, man. Come on. Cover your hair. It's so blonde. Oh, she's darkening her hair. That is quite impressive to be able to do that. Only one. You can at least keep one hand warm. And then rub the other one. There you go.
Without a care.
Meanwhile, Entangled.
A devil. He's been stealing all our grain.
Better be a real devil,
Any
then.
pints, I'd pay you. 100 ducats.
150.
Other things. I mean, what is that? Is that onion? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you smell of death.
Oh my god,
And
go
destiny.
away.
Heroics and heartbreak.
It's onion.
Right, yeah.
Bye.
Come on, Roach.
Man, this episode's colorful. I like it.
Just because you are conduits of chaos does not mean that you are capable of magic.
I assume this is what the guy was trying to get her away from. Up.
I'm doing it.
The cat freezer's good. Whoa!
This is the balance. There is no conjuring something from nothing. There is a give and a take. Zalil Ain.
Oh, okay. You have to have a sacrifice, basically.
My name is Yennefer.
It's good to meet you properly. Yennefer.
Good to know. I will remember that.
Doing my part to avenge human lives lost in Philavendra's uprising.
Philavandra.
The elves call him King. Last year he tried to claim Cintron land. My brother got an arrow in the brain.
Oh no, it's worse than the knee.
Wasn't Queen Calanthe's fault. Nilfgaard only got past Cintron borders because of elven spies.
Technically, it was the elves' land first.
Our brother died for that land.
And your father died for Calanthe's selfishness. One conflict after another. Robbing us of
Okay.
our homes, our men, and our lives. When will it stop?
Don't worry, he's one of the clean ones.
Okay. Wow!
You talk.
Oh no, it's a legit dude.
You motherfucker goat.
Oh,
Talk! The Sylvan! A rare and
His eyes.
intelligent creature! You're a dick. With balls. Balls I got from humans who left out food filled with iron meant to poison me!
ow.
Did your motherfucker snowman?
That's funny.
You are intelligent. I'll give you that. So I won't kill you. But you can't stay here. Neither can you.
Ah!
Look into her eyes.
Okay.
Thought transference should flow through you, like learning to dance or swim or kiss.
Don't look away.
Come on, you can do it.
I like she is supportive actually to Yennefer. Yeah? You getting somewhere?
Cicadas in summer.
Are these the things you love?
These are the things I thought you would love.
Cicadas? Really?
I'm looking for Geralt of Rivia. Do you know him?
Afraid I don't. He's a knight.
Not really.
I don't know.
Oh. I don't think he's necessarily a knight.
But your mother or your father?
My parents died when I was a baby.
Ah, now I get it.
The ultimate expression of chaos. Catch lightning in a bottle.
Really?
That's impossible.
No, it's magic.
I assume that this is one of those do it or you die sort of things. You always hate to be the first person. Oh, she dead. Alright, third time's the charm. Oh! Nope. Well, she's got it. Whoa! Huh. She contained it within herself.
It is your job to control chaos, not become it.
I can.
But if I send you to advise a king, and your precious little feelings get hurt when he won't listen, and you submit to chaos, he dies, his people turn on us. Whose fault would that be?
That's what this is
No.
for?
What's 2 humans in the ground when countless elves have died?
1 human.
Yeah, one
And you
mutant.
let him go.
My elders worked with humans and got robbed of all they had. And when they fought back, they were slaughtered. And now the humans proudly watch these very fields grow. Our babies fertilizer for their grain. I don't wish to bury anyone else.
Okay, so the elves were forced off their land.
Rebuild. Get strong again. Show the humans that you are more than what they fear you to be.
Yeah. Don't be the monsters!
Like you, Witcher.
I have learned to live with them,
Yeah.
so that I may live.
Man, he is so into his own philosophy. I love it.
My real father. He was half elf.
Huh.
His blood is why I'm cursed with a twisted spine.
So she's a quarter elf. And the physiology doesn't really work.
What will you do with it?
Nothing. Simply wanted to know that you could control your emotions and get it from the boy. That you would. You may go,
Oh, was this...
Jennifer.
It was a ruse?
Does this mean I get to ascend?
You've been working on her for months.
Hey!
You must be able to give me something. She's part elf.
Alright.
Pick it up and go! Go!
Oh! Yeah, this dude's done. Whoa. Getting Obi-Wan.
You turned my friend into a slug.
An eel. Come, push your friend into the pool.
No.
Yes.
This is where we part ways, Bard. For good.
Look, I promised to change the public's tune about you. At least allow me to try.
No. Fucking go away.
You're an elf.
Oh yeah, it was that guy.
I'm Dara.
They came after me with masterful
Okay.
I'm Siri.
broke down my loot and they kicked in my
Siri.
teeth.
It's a good cover name.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty.
Is this a legit song from the games?
Coin to your witcher, a friend of humanity.
It makes him sound like a superhero.
Oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, a friend of humanity.
Alright. And that is the end of the episode. Oh boy, oh boy. I can't, like... This is an interesting episode because, like... I don't know, like, I almost... I guess at the beginning I kind of expect, like, oh, well, you know, they'll meet up, won't they? And it's like, well, no. It would make sense if it takes a little more time for Geralt and Ciri to meet up. So it might be a little bit before then, episode or two. So, I mean, he didn't even, like, talk about... he didn't even talk about her at all. But she at least knows... She at least is, you know, on the hunt for him. So that's at least something. But an interesting episode. Definitely an interesting episode. Again, a lot to take in, man. It is... This show is a test of my comprehensive abilities. Oh my gosh, like... I'm really trying to keep in everything. I'm writing down as many notes as I can. I think I'm getting it. Now, at time of recording this, the first episode has not gone up to YouTube. It hasn't even gone up to Patreon yet. So I am still I'm out of it. I don't really have any of your comments on anything. If I am missing something or not. So hopefully I'm not doing too bad on this. Hopefully I'm doing all right in my comprehension of this show. Because again, this is a lot. It's definitely a lot to take in. Like I'm sure if you watch this and you read the books or played the games, I'm sure you could really, you could follow this pretty easily. But for me, as a guy who hasn't done those things, it's definitely a challenge, Definitely a challenge to try to piece everything together. Now, I will say, last episode we had the whole thing with Ciri, which it's pretty clever having her name be shortened to Ciri now. That whole thing with her last episode, that at least, at the end tied into, well, she needs to go find Geralt. This episode, the, I guess, side story, I don't even want to, I kind of don't want to call it the side story because I think it got more screen time than Geralt did, I think it got more screen time than Geralt's story, honestly. But everything with Yennefer, it... I don't know, it's I don't fully know how this ties in, I don't know, I don't fully know how it ties in to Geralt, because that's the thing. I have to assume, obviously I have to assume that it ties into what's happening with Geralt, but I just don't know how, So, the only thing that I can see that sort of ties into Geralt is Stregobor showing up at the end, which was actually really cool. So, because honestly, I think I said last episode, I think last episode I did say, I don't see how how anything from Geralt's plotline in episode 1 would come back, It just seemed well, that was just, its own plotline to set up Geralt, basically. Whereas now it's okay, well, it did set up Geralt and his character, but it also set up Stregobor, who I guess is going to be sort of a reoccurring villain, maybe? I don't know. But it was definitely a lot to take in. I mean, we kind of had an entire character arc for Yennefer in this, and we had to introduce her in this same episode, So, oh man, it's a lot to take in as someone who's coming into this pretty much blind, So, yeah, Let's go ahead and hop into the notes on this one. I'll probably be skipping around some of these notes to try to keep them a bit more organized than they actually are. So, let's go ahead and talk about every note I pretty much wrote about Yennefer. So, okay. So Yennefer was this, it was just a girl who, had, what did she say, the twisted spine? And so, everyone made fun of her and stuff, and then just one day she happened to make a portal to find... She made a portal and sort of fell into this other place, and then she met Istrid, who tried... Okay, he tried to get her out of there without... shit, what was her name? I'm pulling up a cast list because I need character names. Hold on. It's gonna take me a minute because I have to go to IMDb because Netflix doesn't have a cast list. Okay. Right, so we need episode 2. Okay, here we go. So... Tissia? Tissia? Is that it? Okay. I'm gonna say Tissia if that's not how you pronounce it, then sorry. Excuse me. So, okay. So Istredd tried to get Yennefer out of there through a portal that can't be traced so that Tissia wouldn't find her, but she did find her, and then her douchebag stepdad, or whoever that was, sold her for 4 marks. Which, that was the thing, too. It's like, you know, you can clearly tell this guy wants to get rid of her, you know? This guy wants to get rid of her, because it's like, you know, yeah, he says, you know, well, it's 10 bucks for the pig, and it's like, how much for that beast? And it's like, 6, 4, deal. It's like, geez, man. It's like, that's not even, like, trying to negotiate at all. It's like, you named a price, they named a lower price, and then you just went with that. That's not negotiating, man. So it's like, it's very clear he did not care. He just wanted to get rid of her, you know? So yeah, that was interesting. And so somehow, even though Istredd did this portal to specifically make sure that she couldn't be traced, she was still found and brought back to that place. Okay, I can roll with that. Okay, let me skip down a little bit. Balance, that was interesting. We were learning about how they do this sort of magic. It's not just, well, they have just magic, boom, and stuff. It's like, no, I like that, okay, there is a balance, there is a cost. They kind of do the same thing on Merlin a bit, where, on some of the things they do on Merlin, but they do it a lot more here, obviously, where, you know, they're trying to make the rock levitate. None of them can do it right off the bat, but one of them does, and then her hand, that's terrifying. Her hand, you know, pretty much shrivels up and dies, you know? And it's like, oh, well, you need the balance. So then they all start holding, the daisies, and that is what is sacrificed so that they can do the magic. That was actually really interesting. I like that. You know, it kind of sets up our magic system, at least for, you know, for these mages. They did say mages, I think. Yeah, I think they specifically called them, like, mages. And so, as mages, they would also be advisors to kings. Makes sense. Again, kind of calling back to Merlin, that's kind of what Gaius is, although he's not really a mage, he's just a physician. But it is sort of that, you know, an advisor to a king would be a mage. You know, that's pretty cool. This is giving me some Elder Scrolls flashbacks. I've recently, in the past few days, I've been playing a little bit of the first Elder Scrolls game. So that's what it's really reminding me of. Not even, I don't even think of Skyrim. I think of, like, the original, like, DOS game, you know, Arena. But I don't know. I'm curious if, like, would I be able to just play one of the Witcher games after I watch this season? Although I know there's a second season coming, so maybe I won't do that. But I'd just be curious, so. Anyway, I do kind of want to, like, keep this whole, you know, I don't know anything about The Witcher, because I think that's kind of interesting, especially just with the challenge of trying to get everything. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, we had the balance and the sacrifice. That was pretty cool. The catch lightning in a bottle, that was really interesting. I like the effect of that, you know, which at first it's like, okay, well, you know, you got the first girl, and she just doesn't catch it, and she just, you know, kind of starts burning, you know? And then there was the second girl, she caught it, but then she couldn't contain it, so it just exploded glass in her face. And then, okay, the interesting thing was Yennefer didn't catch it in the bottle, but it looked like she caught it in her own body, and then she expelled it outwards, like. That was interesting, and again, it ties into the next part of the magic system that we've got with these with the mages, is that it is dependent on emotion. So if your emotions get out of control, well, then your magic gets out of control, which is a classic thing to do with powers, you know. So there are those, like, you know, the top of the class there who, you know, can actually you know, control their emotions and stuff. But I like when Tissia, we'll just say Tissia, she's like, well, then there's those like us who can't control our emotions. I actually like that she says that. It's like, you know, she's also in on that. She has gotten really good at it, but, you know, that just shows that she had that same sort of problem when she started out. So that was actually really interesting, a good way to relate her to Yennefer. So yeah, so Yennefer did have to learn to control her emotions, which apparently she did. Now, the only point where they say that time has passed was more towards the beginning, when it's like, oh, I've been here for 3 weeks and I can't do anything. And it's like, well, okay, you know, obviously, yes, that tells us it's been 3 weeks. But then they don't tell us everything after that. And it definitely, it's a little difficult because it's like, oh, well, you know, Yennefer seems to be doing stuff for weeks on end. What do I have in, freaking emails? Sorry, Patreon is emailing me. I don't need that right now. So, like, she's going through, like, weeks and weeks and weeks of training. Meanwhile, we keep cutting back to Geralt, but it all seems to just be one day for him, so it's sort of a little, like, disconnect on how much time has really passed. Like, it makes you, it kind of, like, tricks you. Like, you're thinking, like, oh, well, not much time has passed for Yennefer, but it's like, no, this is, like, months, you know? She's, like, formed a relationship with, Istrid, right. Speaking of which, she formed a relationship with Istrid, which kind of seemed to be a ruse on both sides. Like, you know, Tissia, it seemed like Tissia wanted her to... Okay, again, there's a lot to take in. So, it seemed like Tissia wanted her to get close to Istrid, I guess, to see what he was doing. There was something about the flower, or, like, the incantation he did, which started to create a portal, and, you know, Yennefer got that on the first try, which even he thought was impressive. But then Istrid talked to Stregobor and was like, oh, there's gotta be something you know about this girl. And he says she's part elf. So, okay, so I think, it's like a ruse on both sides, you know? So, Yennefer is in this relationship while working for Tissia, while Istrid is in this relationship working for Stregobor, I guess. We'll have to see what else, because that's the thing, that's sort of the end of that, that's the end of the plot for them on this episode, so yeah, it's like there's not really, I don't know, it's interesting. I like that they show pretty much immediately, like, no, this, and, like, I don't know if it's an actual loving relationship between the two of them. Maybe you could say it is, but that's the thing, is that we know on both sides now it's a ruse. It'd just be interesting. It's like, do they know that they're both in a ruse? You know, that does she know that he's working for Stregobor, and does he know that she's working for Tissia? It's like, how does this, I don't know. It's very interesting. I like just immediately, it's like they are both in a ruse, basically. This whole thing is a ruse, and I love it. So, that's pretty much all we can say about Yennefer, I think. A very interesting plotline. Again, the only thing is, how does this tie back to Geralt, you know, our protagonist, our main character? The only thing is, and it's good that they put this in this episode, the only thing I can think of is because Stregobor is in on it. Because he seems to be, you know, I guess the boss of Istrid, so I will be curious about that. Okay, so let's see. I didn't really write down I didn't really write down too much about Ciri. She's on the run. I thought it was clever when she darkened her hair, but it didn't really last that long. And she met... Oh, shit, what was his name? Dara. Yeah, it was Dara. So, I mean, there was that, you know. He met Dara, and, you know, well, I guess she got, like, you know, she learned, you know, some stuff about, you know, how the public viewed her grandmother and stuff, which was interesting. And we do know specifically who she's running from is the guy with the bird helmet, which is interesting. And now she is getting a bit smarter about you know, staying undercover, basically. I mean, immediately she said her name was Fiona, and then later on she's now gone from Cirilla to just Ciri, which will probably also sort of hide her who she is. So that's at least good, but other than that, I really didn't write anything down for Ciri, so yeah. So I guess that brings us around to Geralt's plotline. The first thing I wrote down is the Hype Man. What was his name? Was that the guy? Jaskier? I don't know. I just wrote down the Hype Man. It kind of is, honestly. He kind of is like Geralt's Hype Man now. Which, I mean, you kind of see this, you know, in sort of medieval storylines. You know, the guy, you know, singing the songs and stuff like that. So yeah, he honestly is a medieval Hype Man. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know if I necessarily like him, but it could be interesting to see him as sort of the sidekick. So we'll have to see. We got a ton of lore dropped on us about the elves. Again, that scene where Geralt is talking with the Elf King or whatever. That felt a lot like the conversation last episode with Stregobor, where it's like there's a lot of exposition being thrown at you, so you really gotta pay attention, take notes. There's a quiz at the end, you know, like. But I think I got it. So. And also, we did get a bit of lore about the elves with Istrid, which was pretty good. So, the elves are the natives to the continent, and when the humans came over, they taught the humans how to do magic, and then the humans killed them. Took their land, you know, are harvesting their land and stuff. Kind of Native American when you think about it, but whatever. I'm sure there are other, you know, times where people have come through and taken other people's land. I mean, that's kind of just war. But yes, that's kind of what I think of as also just the Native Americans. But still, anyway, so yeah, now there's a whole generation. There is, even after, like, I guess, what would they call it? The Great Cleansing, this purge of all elves. There are still a number of them sort of living underground and, or I guess in the mountains is what they said. So that was pretty interesting. We also got the devil guy. I thought he was interesting. So he was just a dude. He was just a beast guy who was helping out the elves. That was interesting. Now I can't tell, was that CG or was that prosthetic? It looked like CG, and it looked a little weird, I have to say. You know, that, like, I don't want to, like, criticize it harshly or anything, but it did seem like kind of odd, but whatever. But he was kind of cool, and he's helping out the elves, which is nice. And I did like how, you know, he kind of, you know, defended Geralt, where it's like, hey, you know, this Witcher could have killed me, but he didn't, you know? And I like how, you know, they have to come around and be like, all right, you're not human. You know, you're not one of the humans. And I like anytime we get Geralt's philosophies, it's really interesting, actually, you know. When he talks about, you know, we bring up again the lesser evils and stuff like that, which is interesting. But also just, you know, bring back where it's like, you know, you have people. You don't need to keep burying your own. You don't need to keep fighting. Go somewhere else and live, you know? Now, I have to say, because while that worked with Renfri, the elves are a bit of a different issue, I have to say. Not that, you know, they... I'm not trying to say, like... I don't want to say, like, oh, well, no, all the elves need to go and fight, and even if they die, at least they fought for what's theirs and stuff. It's not that, because that's kind of what the second-in-command was talking about. But with Geralt saying, like, oh, well, you know, go somewhere else, start anew, you know, which is basically what he told Renfri. The problem is, if, you know, you could honestly, like, I could see an argument on this show being, if we just went somewhere else, the humans would still just come and kill us anyway, you know? But I do like how Geralt is, you know, he's steadfast in his philosophy, you know, he's like, hey, don't let these people turn you into these monsters. Just go and live a life somewhere else, you know? So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you know, they came in, they butchered us, they, you know, took our lands, but on the other hand, it's like, well, you could go fight them, or you could actually go live a life, you know? So, I like that. I like Geralt's philosophy on that, so yeah. And I guess we'll see, I guess, if I don't know how the elves are coming back. They said something about, like, they said something about the elves in relation to Nilfgaard. I mean, there was, you know, with Ciri, there was the one guy who, you know, was killing the elves and stuff. I don't fully remember what that was about. I guess I could go back and check. Let me go back real quick and try to see that. Yeah, it was about here. There was also a thing about dwarves too, which was interesting. I don't know, it's like they seem to be like, you know, second-class citizens until it's like when chaos was, you know, breaking loose, then the one guy just killed her, which was interesting.
Mother, I brought someone to join us.
Okay.
This is
Fiona.
Look at you in your little cloak,
our father just died.
fighting to defend that wretched bitch and her wretched family.
Mother, stop. Wasn't Queen Calanthe's fault. Nilfgaard only got past Sintram borders because of elven spies. Technically, it was the elves' land first. Our brother died for that land.
And your father died for Calanthe's selfishness.
Okay. So they're saying that the Nilfgaard attack was because of elven spies, but that land was elven land? I guess. I don't fully understand that, but I guess it was basically that. By the way, who played the mother? I don't know. I don't know what the mother's name was. But she looked familiar, so I don't know. But yeah, that was really interesting. So yeah, a lot of lore about the elves in this one. So, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Another good episode, another really interesting episode, and another one where, man, you really have to pay attention, man. There's a quiz at the end, I tell you. So I'm really enjoying this, you know, especially not knowing a damn thing about this series. I'm really having a blast. So, yeah, I guess that is pretty much it. There's really nothing else we can talk about. We'll have to see where all this goes next episode. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Witcher reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.